Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank y'all so much for coming back. I do appreciate all of you guys being here. I am bulk recording, so if you see the same outfit, that's why. But if you are returning, if you are new, if you are in the middle, thank you so much for coming back and for supporting my channel over here on my small corner of YouTube. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, for shouting the channel out, for really just sharing it with your family and friends, because honestly, this is how we can change the face of wealth, by the whole each one, teach one, reach one mentality. So again, thank you guys so much. We are on our road to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So again, thank you to all of you, because that would not even be possible without all of you. So thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about probably my favorite, if not one of my favorite ETFs ever, like ever, and that's SCHD. That is the Charles Schwab US Dividend ETF. So I'm going to be talking a little about that ETF. I'm going to then share with you how many shares we have and how much our market value of those shares are. And I'm going to be sharing with you our goals for ETF and like our ideal monthly income from that, because again, we are trying to do all of this so that we can achieve financial independence and hopefully to create a side passive income stream through dividend investing, good dividend investing. Okay, so let's look at this together. Okay, so I'm looking down and you're looking at this with me, so you can zoom out the past 5 years. So that's why this chart here on Robinhood is so easy for beginners, because all you got to do is zoom out the past 5 years, and despite the recession and the pandemic, SCHD is still up over 50% in 5 years. I think that's pretty awesome, considering, like I said, we just had two major things happen and we're still like not even in the deep part of this recession. So that's one thing I love about SCHD. Again, like I said, SCHD track 100 dividend paying types of companies in the stock market, which again, if you are a dividend investor and you're looking for something that is not so volatile, then SCHD, I like that for that reason. Now keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you guys what my husband and I are doing. If you come down, you can see that SCHD was actually created in October of 2011. So it's been around for over 10 years now. So I do think that's a really good track record for a fund. Also, if you come down the sector, so I really do like the allocation or the makeup of this fund. Okay, so remember, a fund is just a basket of companies. Okay, but I do like the makeup or the allocation of the companies on the sectors. So VTI, for example, is the safest ETF on the stock market, but VTI has quite a bit of technology in it, and we already own VTI and we own several technology companies as individual shares. So I like SCHD because it's not so heavy in tech. Remember, the tech sector is the most volatile sector there is on the stock market, in my humble opinion. And so I like that the top two sectors in this fund is financials and industrials. Okay, again, during recessionary periods, financials are actually a great sector to be in, because all of these interest rate hikes, okay, the credit cards, the loans, the mortgages, guess who are reaping the benefits of that? It's the financial institutions. Okay, so like Bank of America, we have Bank of America shares in Robinhood. So I like that it's financials here, and I like that it's industrials here as well. And then you can finally see the technology portion, which is 16.64%. And I believe VTI's technology portion of that fund is about 24%, but I think it's like around about that. You can see that some other sectors in this SCHD fund is consumer defensive, which I believe is good. And consumer defensive is another way of saying consumer staples. So think of like your Walmart, your Targets, things like that. These are companies that people will just go to no matter if there's a recession or not. Okay, so I like the makeup of that. Also love that it has a nice amount of healthcare. Healthcare is another sector that I think does not get enough love, because it's not as sexy as technology. You got your Teslas and your Googles and your Microsofts, but healthcare is something that we're all going to need, and I like the sector a lot. And then of course you have consumer cyclicals, you have energy, which I'm a fan of, communication services, basic materials, and utilities. So I actually really like the makeup of SCHD more so than VTI, only because it's not so tech heavy, if that makes sense to you guys. And I wanted to show you the top 10 holdings in SCHD because I think that's important. So Merck, so that's healthcare. So I know many of you have heard of Merck. They are really, really like powerful pharmaceutical company. Yeah, okay. And then we have IBM here, we have Pfizer, we have Amgen, Home Depot. Okay, so how many of you guys have been going to Home Depot fixing up your homes? We have Broadcom, Cisco Systems, which we also own, and Robinhood, Texas Instruments, PepsiCo, and Lockheed. So again, all good companies. I mean, solid companies, been around for several years, but they're all in SCHD. So I really like that. Outside, I think Broadcom and Cisco Systems and some of Texas Instruments, you know, that's like, and IBM, that's like tech, but it's not like Tesla. I like that it's not Tesla or Google because we own those in other places. So I'm looking for diversification here, if that makes sense to you guys. I do like looking at some of the statistics when it comes to funds and stocks. I like knowing a lot of the fundamentals. This is very, very important. But for beginners, you just need to really just keep it simple, is what I always say. And I like that, for example, the PE ratio is pretty good. So Warren Buffett famously said that he looks for companies that has a PE ratio of 15 or under. So this, I mean, he's the GOAT, right? He's the GOAT. He's the Tom Brady of, you know, the investing world, or rather we can reverse that because he's been around longer. But I think that's a really good streamline to follow. So this is under 15. I also like that SCHD, they do pay quarterly when it comes to dividends. Okay, so they pay once a quarter, and I love that their yield is pretty solid as well. I think it's like a sweet spot, so I think that's good. Also like that SCHD has a really low expense ratio too, so it's not as low as VTI, but I think 0.06 is pretty good for an expense ratio, so I'm not complaining because SCHD is pretty solid. I can also tell you we did get a dividend payout for the month of December in SCHD. I'll have it up on the screen, but I believe it was like $149 or something like that, which is pretty good. I mean, that could buy over 2 shares of SCHD, which it did buy. But again, you see the strategy that we're trying to do. We were trying to buy into good companies and funds that will pay us for buying into good companies, into good funds. Okay, so we have about 201.25 shares in SCHD, and the market value of those shares is about $15,700. So I think that's a nice chunk of money. I mean, $15,000 is nothing to kind of scoff at, but for our goals, I would love to see us with 500 shares of SCHD, and hopefully making our goal income is about $500, okay, every time we get the payout. So if we're getting 140 some odd dollars now at 200 some odd shares, I think if we keep just building, we could reach our goal of $500 every quarter that this would pay out to us. So, you know, we're just going to keep chugging along. We're going to keep, you know, making our share size goals. You know, I say that all the time on this channel. If you are new, it starts slow. I mean, these 200 shares in SCHD started with 1 share. So if you are new, make your goal 1 share, then 5 shares, then 10 shares, then 20, then 50, then 100, and so on and so forth until you are ready to stop. I get questions often about, you know, how do you know when to cap it? Just when you feel like it's right. This is why you have to have a strategy, because you'll know. So if you heard me just say we would like to get $500 in dividends every time SCHD pays out. Well, now that we have that goal target, we can build up our shares to get us to $500 every time the dividend payout when it comes to SCHD. So I just wanted to give you guys like some context and behind why we do what we do when it comes to strategically building up our positions. If you need some help, I do have a dividend workbook. It's a PDF file that many of you have used. You can print out all of the trackers and keep track. Like you can color in, 1 share, then 5 shares, and you can also track your dividend payments as well, because I think that's also motivating and super important when you're on this journey. Because let me just be honest, when the market is red and we're in a recession, you can feel like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not seeing any results. But getting dividends is a great way to stay motivated. It's a great way to keep the energy alive when it comes to your investment. And again, it has helped my husband and myself. Like, a whole lot. So I just wanted to give like a simple, easy, beginner friendly, what is SCHD, why we love it so much. So I didn't want to just talk about it. I wanted to show you like how much we have invested into this and our goals for this. So let me know down below, do you like SCHD? Have you ever heard of SCHD? It's your first time hearing about it. If it's not, is this something that you would consider? Do you own this in your portfolio? If so, how many shares do you have? What's your share size goal? Things like that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I tried to make it really simple for beginners to understand, because that's who I'm trying to motivate to start to invest. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification button so that you don't miss an upload every time I post a video. And until next time, you guys already know, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.